What if the person you were about to marry wasn't your soulmate? What if the wrong choice meant death? Not just for you, but for everyone you love. That is the nightmare at the heart of Netflix's Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen. And season 1 just ended in one of the most chaotic, blood-soaked finales we've seen in a while. If you just finished watching and you're sitting there with your jaw on the floor, you're in the right place. I'm breaking down everything that happened, what it all means, and what it sets up for the future. Let's get into it. And yes, full spoilers from here on out. You've been warned. So before we dive into the finale, let's quickly get everyone on the same page. The whole season revolves around Rachel, a woman who discovers she's carrying an ancient curse. The rules are simple and brutal. She has to marry her one true soulmate. If she does, they both live happily ever after. Great. But if she marries someone who is not her soulmate, she dies. And if she refuses to get married at all, she becomes something called the Witness, an immortal figure cursed to watch others go through the same nightmare for eternity. 3 options. 0. Good ones, unless she gets incredibly lucky. Enter Nicky, the man she's about to walk down the aisle with. The question the whole season has been building to: is he the one? So we get to the wedding, the flowers, the dress, the whole thing, and right when it matters most, Nicky cracks. He doesn't say his vows. After spending the season watching his mother's long-buried affair destroy his parents' marriage, Nicky has convinced himself that love is a lie. That marriage ruins people. He stands there at the altar and tells Rachel, in front of everyone, that he doesn't believe in it. It is. And here's the kicker. He never fully believed Rachel was cursed in the first place. So not only does he abandon her emotionally at the worst possible moment, he also dismissed the very real danger she was in. Rachel, now abandoned at the altar, is pushed into the third option. She becomes the witness. Now, Nicky realizes what he's done. He panics, he grovels, he begs Rachel to marry him anyway. And Rachel, who has been put through the ringer all season, says no. Which, honestly, fair. But this is where the show gets really dark, because Nicky doesn't accept that answer. His father, and the rest of the family essentially force the ceremony to continue crowding around Rachel and completing the wedding against her will. It's disturbing. It's meant to be. The show is making a very pointed statement about how women are pressured into marriage even when they've clearly said no. And then the curse responds. Because Rachel was forced into a marriage against her will with someone who may or may not be her soulmate, the curse doesn't just take Rachel. It spreads. Like a wave, it hits Nicky's entire family. People start collapsing. Blood pours from noses, eyes, ears. The wedding venue turns into a horror scene. Among the casualties, Portia, who, it turns out, secretly married someone she didn't truly love. The curse found her too. It's brutal, it's chaotic, and it's one of the most visually striking sequences of the whole season. Now, not everyone dies, and the survivors tell us a lot about what the show is actually saying. Jules and Nell make it out alive, which is interesting because for most of the season, their marriage looked like it was falling apart. They were heading toward divorce, constantly arguing. You'd think the curse would have gotten them. But here's the twist. Jules never actually signed the divorce papers. And the show's argument is that messiness, that complicated, imperfect, still trying kind of love, that's what a real soulmate looks like. Not the fairy tale version, not the idealized romance Nicky was chasing. Their son, Jude, survives. Nicky survives. His dad survives. But the majority of the wedding guests, gone. And then there's Rachel. She died in the chaos. But death isn't the end for her. Rachel is now the witness. Immortal. Cursed to exist outside of normal life, watching other people face the same impossible choice she did, generation after generation, forever. It's a devastating ending for a character who deserved better. She didn't choose any of this. She was careful, she was thoughtful, and in the end, the people around her, the people who claimed to love her, failed her completely. So what is this show actually about? On the surface, it's a supernatural horror thriller. But underneath, it's really a story about the pressure we put on love, and on women specifically. Rachel was never truly given a choice. Every option she had carried a deadly consequence. And when she finally made the bravest choice she could, walking away from a man who wasn't ready, she was overruled. Nicky represents a very specific kind of romantic failure. He's not a villain exactly. He's someone who let his fear and his cynicism destroy something real. He convinced himself that because love is complicated, it must be fake. And that cost everyone around him dearly. Jules and Nell, on the other hand, survived because they didn't give up. Even when things were ugly, even when they were hurting each other, they were still in it. The show is saying, the perfect love isn't the one that looks good at the altar. It's the one that stays. Now, is there a season 2? Nothing's been confirmed yet, but the ending absolutely leaves the door open. Rachel, as the witness, is a compelling, ongoing premise. She could appear to future couples, act as a guide or a warning, or even find a way to break her own curse. And there are surviving characters with a lot of unresolved weight, particularly Nicky, who now has to live with what he caused. There's definitely more story to tell here. So that's the season 1 ending of Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen, fully broken down. It's dark, it's messy, and it's got a lot more going on beneath the surface than your average horror series. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel more than you'd think. Subscribe if you want more deep dives like this, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Nicky was Rachel's soulmate? Did the curse get it right? I'll see you in the next one.